What is going on, guys? What is going on? Bear with me a second. Just got a text message all at once, like always. But this computer doesn't seem to be working. At any rate, for those who don't know, my name is Steve Oatley. I'm getting over a little bit of a head cold here. All right. Anyway, sorry, guys. The day is always work. All right. As you can tell by my voice, I have a little bit of a sore throat. If you see that up there, see that big shiny gold one? Yeah. It's because I got a gold medal on Sunday for the 140 weight class. I won that sucker, like always. I beat out two other people for that. So I was super happy because there was other people in the competition, which was nice. If you don't know who I am, my name is Steve. This show is called Freight Broker Live. It's the only show where a freight broker talks about what it's like to work in the industry from the eyes of a freight broker. I kind of bring a unique perspective because I am also a former carrier and fleet owner and all that good stuff. So I have a lot of experience in the industry, which I guess kind of makes me unique versus some of the other people that make these videos. Some make videos and don't actually work in the industry. Other people make videos because they can't broker or they can't own a trucking company for whatever reason. So they decide to make the videos. As of right now, for the next couple of days, I'm an active 100% freight broker. But I do have some news that I will release, and it's big news. So you guys may want to share this out. If you haven't already, please make sure you do share it. Every single person, there's 24 of you watching right now. Some are on YouTube, some are on Facebook. If I could have all 20 of you guys that are watching on Facebook all share this out to another group right now, that would be super awesome. But here's my little intro in a second, if I could play it, and then we'll talk. Boom. So you like how I said it starts between 1 and 2. But yeah. So as I said before, my name is Steve Oatley. This is Freight Broker Live. It's a talk show where we talk about freight and we talk about current events and things like that. I had some news articles picked up and then I had to restart my computer because it didn't start in a while. So I restarted it and lost the articles that I wrote. But there's a big article today by Business Insider. And this is the kind of funny thing because it quoted their source for this stuff was Chad Boblet. If you know who he is, he has that rate per mile group. He's a notorious motor carrier, supposedly industry, whatever, blah, blah, professional, which is fine. Good for him. He's kicked me out of the group because he doesn't like people that talk about stuff that doesn't align with his values. But at any rate, apparently Amazon. I probably don't even need to make that because my voice is so messed up right now. But apparently Amazon has launched a pay per day. So instead of paying drivers per mile or per load, now they're just doing a flat rate pay per day with a prearranged rate for the day. Now I just saw this article before I started making the video. I did, right, Lane? But I just saw this article, so I didn't have time to research it to find out any of the rates or anything like that, which is a little bit different. So I'm going to try to just talk about it real quick and then go from there. So apparently, apparently it quotes Chad Boblet, a Lexington, Kentucky truck driver. He sometimes does Amazon loads, even though they pay less than his other jobs, but he's charmed, as they said, that by Amazon paying truck drivers per day rather than by per mile, which is virtually how every other company pays its truck drivers. An internal document seen by Business Insider confirmed this practice. It outlines how Amazon pays truck drivers. It's not going to work. I worked for a company that tried to pay its company drivers on a per day rate, and it didn't work. And it's certainly not going to work for independent contractors. Now, I'm wondering if they're trying to do this to, maybe they foresee, especially in the Northeast, they foresee some sort of AB5 or SB, whatever it is, up there in New Jersey. But maybe they're trying to find some way to set themselves up apart. But it's not going to work. The only people it's going to work for, the flat rate per day pay, are going to work for the uneducated motor carriers. And speaking of uneducated motor carriers, if you guys want to get educated, sign up for my freight broker course, sign up for my trucking seminar, which starts this Saturday. It's an all-day, completely free seminar sponsored by payforfreight.com. And I'll teach you how to run a trucking company from ground up, from picking out a truck, filing for your authority, getting set up with insurance, getting set up with factoring, growing your trucking company, getting direct clients, expanding out, buying more trucks, becoming a broker. It's a 7-hour free seminar. So you could find the link on my page, which is freightbrokerlive.com. You could find, Freight Broker Live on Facebook. You could find the link to it. It's one of the most recent posts I have, or maybe someone can go and just grab that post and post it here in the comments. It's a free seminar. You'll get my user manual if I can find it. I was looking yesterday to try to find it, and I can't find it. But I'm certainly not going to rewrite it. I'll copy and paste other stuff if I have to. You'll get full carrier packets. I'll teach you how to run a trucking company from point A to point B, and it's free. It doesn't cost you a dime at all. You can just attend. You just got to sign up so you can view the link and all that stuff. But then the videos will be made public on YouTube shortly after each module is done. But it's all day Saturday. Starts at 9:00 in the morning Eastern time. It'll end at 5:00. Nobody else does those seminars. People do these webinars or these paid webinars or these boot camps or anything. I'm going to provide the same information. I'll teach you guys how to do it, and it's free because it's a fully sponsored event, again, by Pay for Freight, which is a leading factoring company for carriers. And you guys should check it out. So again, someone will probably post that link up here and then we can go. But according to this Business Insider link, according to the internal company document viewed by Business Insider, Amazon has 3 pay categories for truck drivers: Solo 1, Solo 2, and Team. An Amazon spokesperson confirmed the pay structure. This approach has been used in the past 2 years with hundreds of line haul service providers and Amazon carrier network who have driven millions of miles of years globally, the representative told Business Insider. Unfortunately, I've consulted a lot of clients that work for Amazon and carriers that we got set up for Amazon, and I've never heard of them offering per day pricing. I would steer carriers away from doing it. Per day pricing is not going to work because then you're going to have stupid deadhead. All your miles, you're not going to end up getting paid for it. Detention, all the different things. Unless I saw something that proved otherwise, I wouldn't think that it would be a good situation. But apparently, Solo 1 pays truck drivers anywhere from $600 to $800 for a day of work. The highest pay is found in the starting locations of Bradley International Airport in Hartford County, Connecticut, and Philly. The lowest pay rates are cities like down here, Miami, Jacksonville, Florida, Mobile, Alabama. Under federal law, these truck drivers are capped at 14 hours of work per day. These truck drivers drive for 14 hours, making a predetermined number of deliveries, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read this whole article. Solo 2 requires truck drivers to spend their 10-hour rest break outside their base cities in a sleeper truck. Oh, God. Please, guys, unless I'm really curious to see what kind of rates that Amazon's actually putting out there. I'm a little curious to see. I don't know. And maybe Chad can comment on this if he watches these videos. I bumped into him at FreightWaves Live, but I don't know. I'd be very hesitant on pulling any load for a per day rate unless it's, at minimum $1,000 and the radius is way less than 500 miles because you don't know where you're going to end up. I guess the Solo 2 means that you run over the road, so you have a sleeper truck, and then they have team rates, which are higher. Team rates apparently range from $7,500 to $10,000 for several days of work by 2 truck drivers. The pay is split between the 2 drivers, which probably makes it less than a solo pay. But again, I can only estimate. I just wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody go and do any per day. according to a June report, FreightWaves Amazon rates are below the spot or Amazon rates on the spot market, which is when retailers and manufacturers buy trucking capacity as they need it. I've never heard, rightly, maybe that's big news. I've never heard of Amazon offering day rates to its carriers ever. And I don't know why anyone would take it. It was just a story that was just released on Business Insider, but I've never heard of it. Like full day rates instead of a per mile or per trip rate. I've never heard of it. So I may be wrong. Maybe I'm just out of touch, but I set up carriers last year and we didn't hear of it back then either. Or actually this year, this past Christmas. But Fran said, if Amazon is going to pay carriers like hourly workers, good luck finding carriers. Agreed. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I'm hesitant. Maybe it's good. But then again, they have Chad Boblet saying it's a great thing. So I mean, that makes, maybe you should heed that warning right there in itself. But it is. There's a bunch of, I mean, the article is big. You got to be a Business Insider member to read the article, but it's a cool article. It talks about a little bit of stuff that's interesting. And then another thing for anyone who deals with international side, there's been a ruling in Australia that's kind of interesting, and I think it may carry over. It kind of goes along with our lobster story from last week, which is a little bit different. A court in Australia has ruled that a freight forwarder's terms and conditions can be incorporated through an email footer despite the absence of a signed contract. So basically this forwarding company took a load of, I don't know what it was, construction equipment, and shipped it to China, and it was damaged, but they limit their liability in the terms and conditions section of an email. In my emails, if I could show you real quick, I'd show you. But I also have a terms and condition for my quotes, saying quotes are valid for 7 days and things like that. I have that on my email too. But I think it's pretty interesting that you can now have a whole terms and condition on the footer of an email and have it stand up in court, because, this Australian court did, say it signed up too. Let's read some of these comments. UPS 950 under 400 miles from New Jersey, but always come to New Jersey. Plus, they pay tolls. Right Lane said, I have charged a day rate in the past based on spot market, helping businesses move facilities that can be profitable. Right. And see, this is the thing. Yes, day rates can be profitable, but look at who it is. That's it. The Amazon rates are low. They've been low. I mean, they were high last year, but they've been low. That's a general consensus on the Amazon freight loads. They're good because people like that idea of dedicated freight. But even though they apparently rate on the spot market, I would caution against it. I think you have a lot more opportunity to make money unless elsewhere than doing that. But that's my opinion. I wouldn't suggest anyone go out and hedge all their bets on one thing, and like I said, that it's just different. I didn't know Amazon does day rates. I've never heard of it before. I know UPS and some of those other companies do it, but I've never heard of Amazon doing it. And I think it's kind of interesting, as in terms of growth and to see if it actually works, but they can get so many carriers to sign up for them anyway. So it's pretty interesting. Tio said, do I not like Chad? I don't really care. I mean, I've met Chad in person too. I met him when, like I said, at FreightWaves Live. Nice enough guy. He's much shorter than I thought he was going to be. He's like up to here. But I think it's the ego that's big. He's a nice guy. I don't like the censorship on Facebook groups. It's kind of trivial. France said Amazon cannot afford to pay better rates. Poor company isn't paying federal taxes. Yeah, I'm not going there, but Jovica said TQL does not want to pay truck order not used. Yeah, I don't know. There's more to a story there, I'm assuming. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be coughing like that throughout the whole time. I lost my voice. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel sick. I just think my voice is kind of going, which sucks. So, yeah, so there's some interesting stuff that's going on in the industry right now, freight-wise. Freight rates, DAT had a blog post yesterday, and let me see if I could find it real quick. But it was showing that the lane rates are up from from what they were last month. The month's rates are up for almost all modes. I believe all modes were up. I don't necessarily I don't necessarily agree from what I'm seeing every day. I don't see rates coming up right now. Yeah.
Amazon, I know.
Didn't press it all the time, but I don't really care. As I said, my voice is so messed up right now anyway. I'm trying to find this article real quick to show you what I was talking about, but not to show you, but to read it, but I can't. It's where is it? Come on. Anyway, DAT showed. I wish I had it in front of me. So DAT's rates were up. I think what for dry van they were up 3 or 4 cents per mile per mode essentially. So they're about the same, up to 8 cents. I think was the difference between different modes, whether it's flatbed reefer or flatbed reefer or van. So I think that's maybe it's a step in the right direction. I think rates should be much, much higher right now, especially going into a holiday, coming out of a holiday. Then, we're less than a month away from Christmas. You would think that freight volumes would pick up. I haven't really checked capacity. I've got so much going on, so I haven't really paid as much attention as I should. But whatever, what can you do? Right Lane said, I need to push the Amazon button. I see that. Right Lane said, again, he has a broker not sending me a rate con for a load picking up tomorrow. It's been 2 hours and the load's still posted. What should you do? Well, you should call the broker and say, hey, listen, I need that rate con. And if they don't send it immediately, find another load. Brokers also do that for bid freight. I've done it as well. So you're bidding on a load, not necessarily meaning that you have the load, but you book a carrier on it and then you try to go and get it from your customer. My chances are, if you don't get a Raycon, especially after saying, listen, I need a Raycon within the next hour, otherwise I got to book my truck. I can't hold my truck all day, because you don't have, and there's nothing stopping him from sending you a Raycon and then canceling the load. But I wouldn't hold a truck for 2 hours, especially without a Raycon. I wouldn't hold it, and I don't blame carriers. As a broker, I don't blame carriers for dropping the load they're on with me if I don't send them a Raycon in a timely fashion. That's pretty important. A friend said, how am I going to do a 7-hour webinar with a bad voice? Well, hopefully my voice is better. The webinar is not until Saturday, which is what? 3 days, 4 days from now, 5 days from now. If you want the Raycon, yeah, that's right. That's it. If you want a Raycon, you got to wear a fishnet shirt and send it over to that broker. I don't know where he's going with that one, but yeah, that's, the industry. I wouldn't wait for 2 hours right now. Going into a holiday, I wouldn't wait for 2 hours, because he could be shopping it. I've done that too. Not currently, but I've done that too, where we know we're going into a holiday. We know the capacity demand is going to change. People are going to take loads for cheaper, just based on the fact that they want to get home. So I'd be curious to see if he isn't holding out, trying to see if he can get a cheaper carrier to pull the load, and then to give you, when you call, and then he says, well, one of my other dispatchers accidentally booked the load. I was gone to lunch and I just figured it out, or something like that. So speaking of the seminar, because we have some more people, if you guys don't know already, I am doing an all-day free, 100% free trucking seminar this Saturday from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with breaks and stuff throughout. You don't need to watch it continuously, but it's perfectly free. I'm going to start in the morning talking about how to decide if trucking is for you, if you want to start a trucking company. I'm going to do a filing, show you how to do the filing yourself live. We'll talk to an insurance agent, and we'll talk all about the insurance, what kind of levels you should have, what can you expect to pay, what are some of the insurances that you need to have that you need to have versus should have. We'll get in deep with that. We're going to talk to Pay for Freight, who paid for the whole event, basically sponsored the whole event. We'll talk to them about factoring and things that you should do, things that you should consider when choosing a good factoring company, the things you need to look out for when you're signing agreements or applying even with some of the companies, all that stuff. It's we'll talk about scaling it up, growing. We'll talk about finding new customers. We'll talk about bringing on owner operators. I have a bunch of different software companies that have sent us information that should be helpful, that I'm going to include in my packet that I'm sending out to everybody. Again, the seminar is completely free. You can go over to the Freight Broker Live Facebook page and find the link there and sign up. It's completely free. If someone is watching this, you're more than welcome to be awesome and copy and paste that link into this chat so that way people can get it. But yeah, that's about it in terms of current events and current news and things like that. Right Lane said he's going to tell him to send the Raycon or he'll send him the photo. You could do that. I don't know. He may just, say, sure, send me the photo and not send you a Raycon. I don't know. But here's some news, guys. So here's some, actually, Randy asked a question. What do I predict the rates will do in 2020 considering it's election year? I don't know. The rates have to come up. They're pretty darn low right now, which is one of the reasons why I think if you have a good nest egg and you're sitting on something decent, it may be a good time to get into the trucking industry. So you don't start when the rates are great and think that's the norm. When you start when they're lower and then build it. And if you're able to scale your company when rates are low, chances are you're going to be able to succeed in the long run. I know a lot of people will say, oh, it's a horrible time to get into trucking. I don't think it's a horrible time to get into trucking. I think it's a good time to get into trucking, especially if you want to expand and become a broker, become a dispatcher, become a shipper, do whatever you got to do. Jovica said, in my story, the driver was there on pickup at time. The facility told him the product is not ready and it'll be ready tomorrow. I told the broker we will wait for 1 hour and then we will leave. He said he will pay me truck order not used, and he will pay me truck order not lose. He said yes, and after an hour we left. 15 minutes later, they told my driver the load is ready now, and we rejected. And now they do not want to pay. How much should we wait? You should have just stayed there. I don't know what you're talking about. You should have just stayed. If they called, if after an hour you left, and then 15 minutes later they told you to call, you should have went back and picked up the load. I wouldn't pay you a truck order not used at that point anyway. Hell, I wouldn't even have paid you. I would have negotiated it first. And here's the thing. With truck order not used, if you are a carrier, I know you're a dispatcher, not a carrier. But if you're a carrier, get the truck order not used over email. Always. If a carrier says, hey, listen, and plus, that's pretty weird. For someone to say, "Oh, I'll wait for an hour," and if it's not ready within an hour, you're going to pay a truck order not used. A broker's not going to agree to that anyway. If someone said that to me and said, "Hey, the shipper is saying it's not going to be ready till tomorrow," and I say, "Oh no, I just talked to someone there, it's going to be ready," and then the carrier says, "Well, I'll wait an hour and leave. If I leave, will you pay me truck order not used?" I'm going to say, "Absolutely not. You left the load." That's what I would say. But then again, so in your example, Jovica, if that's how you say your name, no, I wouldn't pay you a truck order not used at all. I'd go back and get the load so you have a load to do. But that's just me. Bright Lane said it's a good time to buy equipment, buyer's market. Yeah, and it's going to get better too. The FreightWaves reports on all that stuff too. So I guess the cost of used equipment is going down. The cost of new trucks, no one's buying new trucks because there's a surplus of used equipment. Why are you going to buy new trucks? Randy said these current rates can't be sustained. No, I mean, they got to go up. To be honest, they're not super duper low. Some of the lanes are pretty rough, but they're, Dallas outbound freight is pretty rough right now. But again, it depends on where you're going. And that's where, you need to do an effective job at managing your trucking, because going into a place, you want to make sure you got enough money so that way you could take a cheaper load, because it's still going to equal your total miles and what you need to make for all miles versus, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm getting $3 going in, but if I can't get $1.50 coming out when my minimum is $1.50 a mile, I'm not going to haul it. You're already getting it because you're getting double what your minimum is to go in. I never understood that argument of taking cheap freight. Now I understand, if you're doing a head haul for less than what your operational cost is, that's pretty dumb and you need to think about it. But no matter where you are right now, I think head hauls, it would be pretty hard to get under an operational cost with a head haul unless you're coming out of like that Dallas market or something like that. But there is a link. Thank you, Shay. There's a link for the free trucking seminar. And I'm going to talk about rating stuff, and I'm going to talk about how to calculate a cost per mile and the way I do it. And it's going to be a very quick one. It's not going to break down every single maintenance line item you could possibly have, but it'll put it into a little bit better perspective. Jovica said, how is it possible that a broker is selling the load and he does not know that the product is not ready? Well, because ultimately a broker relies on the customer input to tell you whether a load is ready. Yeah, I mean, you need to know whether the load is ready by the customer telling you. If a customer says, "Hey, the load's ready to pick up," a broker could call and verify, and that's. I mean, sometimes I do it. Depends on how busy I am. But I'll call and verify to see if the load's even ready to pick up. If it's not ready to pick up, then I'm not going to bother with it too much. That's just my, or if I'm busy, I'm not going to call and see if it's ready to pick up. I'm going to assume that my customer said it's ready to be picked up. But here's the thing too. If I send in a carrier to pick up and my customer said that the load is ready to pick up, and then we get there and it's not picked up, my customer's getting billed truck order not used, because I have to pay the carrier truck order not used. In the instance that you said before, you went there to pick up, you were told it would be 24 hours. Something happened. There's something you're leaving out where the broker said, no, I've already confirmed it'll be ready. You said, fine, I'll give it an hour. And then you said, well, if it's not ready in an hour, I'm leaving. He calls you 15 minutes after you leave and says, hey, the load's ready. You didn't deter. You didn't go too far. You should have turned around and went back. I would not pay you a truck order not used either in that circumstance. And plus, if a broker says you're getting a truck order not used, it's not valid over the phone. Get it in writing. That's the same thing with detention. I could bullshit my way to every single carrier. When a carrier calls me and says, oh yeah, I'll pay you detention. No worries. If it's not in writing, you're not, there's nothing holding me to paying you detention if it's not on the original Raycon. But yeah, that's my input. My guess is that you're getting a little kickback, or you're getting, you see, here's the thing too, as a dispatcher, which I know you are, as a dispatcher, your job is also to properly check and make sure the shippers and all that stuff are ready. And that's when I dispatched, I did the job of a carrier. So before the carrier even went to pick up, I called the shipper to say, hey, is this load ready? I'd give them the pickup number. They tell me if it is or not. I'd verify appointment times, all that stuff. A broker doesn't necessarily need to do it. A shipper or a carrier absolutely does. Jovica, you said you rejected it because you found another load, and yet you're still trying to get a truck order not used. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna restrain myself here. I'm not gonna address these comments anymore from you, because this is the problem. This is the reason why the industry is messed up. In my you have people that are booking loads that shouldn't, in my opinion. It's annoying. If you can't tell, I got a little mad. But whatever. Right Lane said he's seeing the rates up now over early November. Hopefully they stay up. I think they're going to keep going up. From October, they're up. I think, like I said, on the high end, according to DAT, they're up 8 cents or so for reefer. I think it was 5 cents for flatbed and 3 cents for dry van. Dry van rates they're pretty low right now. It's pretty rough. As I say, if you're going to get into trucking and you haven't already bought the equipment, or you don't have it yet, my strongest advice would not be to jump in a hot shot. It wouldn't be any of that. It would be to get a day cab or get a sleeper or whatever, and buy a used step deck, one with ramps. It's just going to allow you to do a bunch of freight, and then you can go out and buy a cheap dry van or something later, because you can get a decent dry van for $5 to $10,000. That's decent and roadworthy, and you could just keep that at your yard. So if you don't have anything to go on the step when you're home, you just hook up to the dry van and pull some dry van load or something like that. Fran said it's brutal right now. I think rates aren't going to improve at all this year. They're going to keep going up. They're not going to be at what they were in the end of 2018 at all. Hopefully they start coming up, and maybe we'll have a better March and a better February. But I can't see the downward trend that happens every single year, where rates go down in February and March, and from where they are now, that's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt a lot of people. My belief, and like I say to everyone, and I said to the group of agents that I'm training last night, my belief is the best time to get into the industry is once you actually know what you're doing. Have some time behind the wheel, to understand what it's like to actually be a truck driver, to understand the demands of driving, understand the hours of service, as screwed up as they are, but get that perspective. That'll make you a much more effective freight broker, in my opinion. Is it a good time to be in the industry? My father always said the best thing to do would be to get a job as a trucker hauling food. You'll always have a job, no matter what the recession is or any of that stuff. I took it a step further and said, listen, I'm just going to get a job hauling anything. being a freight broker, hauling freight, being involved in the transportation of freight, rates will sometimes go low. My margin percentage stays the same. You read all these articles that are being out now where margins are going low, gross profits are the gross profit rates are lower. Brokerage aren't making any more money, but their margins are staying the same. The margins are staying the same because that's what a margin is. You have a set margin on a rate. Carriers have a margin too on a profit. A lot of times carriers will get on here and be like, brokers shouldn't make this much money. Brokers should make this much money. But it's, everyone has profit. Everyone's in the industry to make money. Now, could a carrier go and do everything themselves? Absolutely. Could a carrier, and this is the way I think, if every carrier started out as a carrier, grew their fleet the right way, slowly, not the way I did it, grow a fleet slowly, build it up properly, make sure you're saving money. And then when you're ready to take the step and you have your own direct clients that you're hauling freight for on your trucks, that's when you would go into the brokerage side. Because then you have the income from the trucking side to essentially supplement the salary while you're building out your brokerage side. Any new broker has a lot of issues, a lot more issues than being a new carrier. With a new carrier, you're going to get a handful of brokers that won't work with you for the first 60 days, another handful for 90 days, another handful for 180. Some will even say now, I've heard that you need to have 5 trucks just to haul with them. It's not that way with everybody. But brokerage, working at a new broker, it's hard to cover loads sometimes because carriers aren't going to haul for you. If they can't get you credit approved, they're not going to haul. So, what I always say is just have some sort of secondary income, you know what I mean, and grow. And I made a good point yesterday, I think. If you do have to factor as a broker, then just make sure you have money to keep yourself afloat. Factor, build in that 8% factoring rate or whatever it is, including escrow and all that stuff. And then you'll and then once you're able to get yourself sufficient, you don't need factoring anymore, then you have that 8% profit in there. T. Holland said Dat just put out a report, broker margins are up. I don't think broker margins, I may be wrong. I didn't see that report saying that broker margins are up. I saw a bunch that said they are sustaining, so they're the same levels. But a margin is a percentage. So if the lane rates are down and the broker's charging 8%, and granted the carrier's getting paid less, the margin is less, but the percentage could stay the same. That's how margins are guessed. I know the profit on loads is down for across all boards, across all fronts. but here, I'm going to play a commercial and get a water break because if you can't tell, I have no voice. Brokers are making money. Yeah, I've never said brokers aren't making money. They're just not making as much. When the market is good, that's when brokers are making more money, just as carriers are. When the market is bad, brokers are still making money, but we're not making quite as much because we don't have as much play in the rates as we do when rates are great. When rates are up, like they were in February or like last November, December, even October, rates were really good. We could pick and choose who we wanted to give a loads and all that stuff. Because we had that ability. We don't necessarily have as much negotiating power now as brokers because our lane rates are lower. Carriers are being a little bit more picky on what loads they're taking. But here's the commercial. I'm simply the best, better than all the rest. Yeah, better than anyone. What's a singing goat have to do with factoring? Nothing. OTR Capital. Better than the rest. Hopefully you guys couldn't hear the microphone when I muted that. I don't think you can, but whatever. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the old, it seriously feels like I have like a hairball right here in my chest. It's really annoying. But here's some news for you. Effective next Monday, Freight Broker Live is done. It's all done. That's the news. I'm too busy. So I'm just going to stop doing Freight Broker Live here in Florida. I'm just going to say, meh. And move on to the next thing. Now you guys are probably like, whoa, that's super exciting. I'm super excited that you're that one broker's not going to be doing it anymore. Well, news for you. I don't know if I'll be making a video on Monday, but I will be part of FreightWaves. So I'm moving the whole brand up. I'm actually moving to Chattanooga this weekend, and I am going to create a new show with FreightWaves under the FreightWaves brand. But I get a lot of content control, so I get to keep the same type of the videos that I like and all that stuff. So I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome. Someone wrote The Goat. They changed their name to The Goat. That's pretty funny. I don't know who that is, but that's funny. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for December 1st. I think there's a lot in the future that's going to be pretty exciting. Now I'm still for now I'm still going to have the Trinity, and I'll still be a broker and all that stuff, but I'm going to focus on creating good content, writing good articles, and create the content that I think everyone needs to hear, which is why I started making these videos in the first place. Is I want to try to provide a real look into the industry from the perspective of people that actually work in the industry. And that's why I'm very, very excited to join those folks over there at FreightWaves, because I think it'll give me a platform that I just don't have, and I don't have the time or the resources or anything to provide the right kind of content. And so I'm super excited about it. If you can't tell, I'm super excited, and I've known about it for a little while, but I also think sometimes things are too good to be true. So I wanted to wait until it was the last possible moment. But I told the people that I'm training last night, I broke the news to them, and I knew it wasn't going to stay long, so I had to say something. Plus, I was excited. So, Fran said, "Poor Steve, he's going to be censored by those people." The thing about it is yeah, I'm going to be. I welcome some censorship, because if you guys can't tell, I get kind of carried away. Like the whole RBBS thing, the James Lamb, the Shaggy thing. When I find something that I don't necessarily think is right, I get mad, you know what I mean? And I would I'm looking forward to actually having someone to press a mute button when I go off on a tear and say, "Hey, Steve, you got to calm down." Or if I write an article about some breaking news or something, I don't have to worry about editing it or spell checking or even fact checking sometimes. I'm able just to write stuff. And the amount of resources that I have to be able to create videos and when I plan on going live and I can't get the phone system to work properly, I really want to be able to have that support to be able to make better videos and better content that will be received well. So I'm very excited about it. For a while I'll still do FreightWaves will support your status worldview. Well, that's the thing, is I try to keep politics out of my videos all the time. I try to keep politics out of them because I don't want to be that kind of. I don't want to vent about that stuff. I mean, in some instances, trucking is very political, with all the legislation that goes on and the government oversight and all the stuff. So you have to be a little bit, but I'm, if it makes sense, I'm really looking forward to having the resources and the ability to provide content that I like. And it's in my agreement. I get to create my own content and my own stuff. So there's other stuff that I can't do because it's just me. And I had to focus on booking freight, and I had to focus on the trainings and all the other stuff that I was doing to try to generate money. And I don't necessarily need to do that stuff. And I could focus on making videos. And I've got a whole list of different video topics and stuff that I want to make, and I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be very it's going to be a game changer for me in my career, in this industry. I've held pretty much every position you can hold in logistics, and this is I consider this like up there, even though the position is, and I'm like probably the newest person ever going to be there, but I'll be able to provide in terms of my career and my knowledge and my experience, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, that's Right Lane. That is what I'm going to be doing for them, is I will only have shows. So only shows, radio, maybe I could talk in myself into a spot with the Sirius. That's all I'm going to be doing is just creating content for them, occasionally writing or contributing to writing. But it's my job will be to take this show, this, Freight Broker Live, maybe rename it to something else, but, and have this same audience and all that stuff. Like I'm still going to post all my videos on Facebook and YouTube, just like I currently do. And they're all going to be live because I'm not a big fan of doing the recorded stuff all the time. I think the live and the Q&As and all that stuff provide a much better look into the industry, and I can answer questions real. And I'm super, super excited about it, but that's it. Anyone have any questions about transportation, which is what we normally talk about? So, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I've been holding it in for a long time, to be honest, because I knew it was going on, and I just think it's going to be, it's awesome. So, and like I said, I'll still be making the videos. Hopefully I'll be able to pump videos out quick, and I'll have more time to do it. So I'll be able to research more. Nothing will be as rushed. Hopefully I can get the phone system working so we can actually do a good call-in show. Like the couple that we had, which were very good. The round tables, I want to get those. So not only do we have the working man, because that's what I like to consider myself. My target audience is the people that actually work. They're doing the actual work, the drivers, the brokers, the ones that are actually beating up the phones and all the stuff all the time. And I think that Right Lane, you are a funny dude. Just keep reading all this stuff. But I like to talk to the people that are out there that are actually working, and I think it's going to be very cool. And Franz, no, I'm back in the bed. I kicked the little guy out of the bed so I could sleep there. Aaron Moneypenny said, how do I feel about hot shots? Well, here's the thing. If you don't have a CDL and you don't have any urge to ever get a CDL, then go for it. Go hot shot. Hot shotting is not what it used to be. And I don't recommend, if you have a CDL and you haven't bought a truck and trailer yet, definitely do not go and buy a hot shot, in my opinion. Definitely don't. Hot shotting is not what it used to be. You're not getting full truckload rates. I know people make these videos and say they're getting full truckload money. They are not. I see it all the time. I am one of the brokers that doesn't necessarily separate a full truckload from a hot shot load. I don't charge a different rate. I don't give a discount to a customer. If a flatbed load can fit on a hot shot truck and they're moving it as a full truck, that's how I ship it. I don't pay any more. I've also gotten that argument for hot shots too. If it's going to take up 10 foot on a 48-foot flat and it's going to take up 10 foot on a 40 foot, then I should pay the 40 foot more because it takes up more of his total space on the truck versus the 48 foot flat. That doesn't work either. It doesn't work that. And if you do simple math, it's going to tell you that, it's not, there's no real cost benefit to doing it. Aaron said, nah, man, I run 11 trucks. Just curious what you think about them. I mean, I used to own a bunch of them. I got rid of them because I just saw the downturn in the industry. Actually, I didn't see the downturn. I was experiencing the downturn, and I got out before it was too late with the trucks. I had 5 of them. And I love the trucks myself. I drove one every day. I took it off of the road and just made it my daily driver. I like trucks. I've always been partial to trucks. I like, pulling a gooseneck trailer. It's mini broker stuff. But it is what it is. Right Lane, what are you talking about? But I'm not a big fan of getting into hot shotting now if you're not already in it. If you're already in it, then go, by all means go. A lot of the guys that have been in it for a while that are doing hot shot, they understand it. You know what I mean? They're in it. They understand their cost to operate. Now your cost to operate are a little bit lower, but as far as what I recommend to the people I consult, stay away from hot shots. If you don't already have the truck or you have enough money and you want a hot shot, buy one after you buy a truck and then explore it that way. To me, semis are more easy to run. Plus, you make more money. Yes, when something breaks, it could take a little bit more time to get it fixed. But in my experience, the hot shots that I had, because I had Dodges and we had one Ford, but we gave it back really quick because it sucked. And then I had a a Chevy that I like too, but something was always wrong with them. They didn't cost quite as much to repair, and I could do a lot of the repairs myself or have my guys do them on the road. Whereas a semi, you know, you got to get parts; they're all different. But semis make more money. There's no other way to say it. A semi per week is going to make more than a hot shot. I could dispatch the trucks and spend the same amount of time dispatching both of them. A semi is going to make more money. 100 times over. It's going to make more money. Right lane said cost of living in Tennessee is super low. It's comparable to a third world country. It is very low. That's one thing. My wife's excited too, you know, but Fran said sad times we won't be able to hear a daily dose of colorful language from the streamer once he joins Freightwaves. Sad to say, but Sandy won. What are you talking about? I'm still going to be able to, I'm not going to be censored. I'm going to be able to keep creating the same type of content. Just believe that. Gary said he has to agree. He runs hot shot. He wants to go to a semi. And I tell you what, when I first got into hot shotting was all right. Especially even last year, hot shotting was still good. But then everyone knew it was a good industry. Everyone kept buying trucks and doing all that stuff, and flooding the market with hot shots. You know, whereas it used to be hard to find a hot shot, or maybe I should say hard to find a good hot shot. They're all over the place now. They're all over the place. You know, so I don't see a benefit of getting. You're going to spend nearly the same amount of money. You know, you're going to spend $70,000 on a brand new truck. You're going to spend $20,000 on or more, $30,000 on a custom trailer with air ride and all that stuff. And you could just go out and buy a used semi and get more and make more money for the lanes you run. So I don't know why you wouldn't do it. But yeah, that's my opinion on the hot shot stuff. But I'll still be able to. The shows are still going to be the same way as the same content. They're just going to be produced better. I'll have more camera angles. So instead of me having to like switch buttons back and forth to make it so like I'm zoomed in, I'm zoomed out and all that stuff, now I'll be able to be like, oh, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be good. Don't ruin it for me, Franz. Right lane said you can get a semi for less than a hot shot truck. Absolutely. I was talking to a consulting client about that the other day because they were asking about hot shotting and doing the same thing. And I'm like, don't do it. Just go buy a used Penske day cab. You'll get all the maintenance records on it. Just buy a used one. I'll find you one for 20 grand. I'll find you I urge everyone to get a step deck trailer as your first trailer. Get a step deck because then you can haul flatbed stuff. You can haul the oversized stuff. You can haul stuff on wheels. You drive it up. And then you'll make more money than dry van freight, obviously, because you're a flat deck. And then once you get money and you make money, then buy another beat up, trailer, a dry van or something like that. Not a beat up one, but you don't go out and buy a new one. And then you can do flatbed, you can do dry van, you can do oversized, you can do everything essentially except reefer freight. That's my recommendation. That's how I say that people should get in here. I got to play this commercial again, dude. I got to cough. But.
I'm simply the best, better than all the rest, yeah, better than anyone. I'm the best.
What's a singing goat have to do with factoring? Nothing. OTR Capital, better than the rest. All right. I'm not drowning, right lane. Like I said, it's like imagine a tickle right here in my my throat. That's what I feel like. I was yelling and all that stuff at this competition because my entire gym was there. Every single person. You guys know that Real World Tactical guy? Yeah, he was in my, not my weight class, but he competed either right before me or right after on every lift. So I got to know that dude. He's pretty cool. He's like an Instagram guy with like 1 million followers. He's pretty awesome. Right, like the close up on the goat's butt is a bit disturbing. That's actually the best part of the entire video for me. I think that's the best part of that whole video. Fran said, poor Steve, he joined Freightwaves for better camera angles. Now he can prove he has hair. No, I don't have any hair. It's long right now. I got to shave it. But see, that's the thing is hopefully I'll get a nice Freight Waves jacket so I don't have to wear sweatshirts. But it's going to be cold. It's going to be different. There's going to be a lot, because even though on these videos I'm boisterous and I'm outgoing, I'm not necessarily that way in person. I'm a little bit more reserved. I take a lot of time to feel things out and meet people and figure out who I can joke around with and who I can't. But I am pretty excited because I'm just going to keep growing this sucker. I'm going to grow. I used to have it down to like here. So I think I'm going to try to beat that because that's like a Tennessee thing, right? I have a big beard. I'm pretty excited about it. Aaron said, any money in reefer? There is. Reefer rates are high. They're higher than all other modes, flatbed, step deck, whatever, or drive-in. I don't know anything about reefer, but beyond that, to be honest, I don't move reefer. I've moved maybe 2 or 3 loads in the past 10 years as a broker. Excuse me, never any as a carrier. I choose to stay away from it. I don't like broker. I don't like reefer stuff. I just try not to do it at all. I am in Port St. Lucie. I'm like 2 hours north of Miami. That's where the competition was. So I had to keep driving down, but Tennessee is nice. I've driven by it a couple of times too. And that's the cool part is I'm going up Monday through Thursday and then I'm driving back every weekend because my family is staying here to finish school and all that stuff. So I'll get to drive, which is literally one of my favorite things to do. I get to reflect on my career and my life. And that's how I came up with the idea for this, making these videos. That's how I come up with my best ideas. My wife hates it because normally it's a new venture and I start selling cars or I start, buying stock, stocking up on motorcycles, but luckily I don't have a truck. So that's different. Florida's hot. We moved down here 2 years ago. I'm not a big fan of Florida. Never really been a big fan of Florida. It's very too hot. Francis, Steve Abdullah alive. I don't get that, buddy, but whatever. It's too hot. I like the cold. I like, snow. It apparently snows a grand total of 2 inches a year in Chattanooga. So if I can see snow once a year, besides having to drive all the way up for Christmas vacation like we do every year, that would be pretty nice. Because I like snow. I just wish there was an ice hockey rink in Chattanooga. Then it would really be good. But I told my son I'll try to build him one. We had an ice hockey rink as kids in our backyard. And I'm going to have so much more time. I'm not going to have to work incessantly. So I'll be able think about the quality of my videos. Like if I make a video on Monday, typically that video is much better than the rest of the week because I have all weekend to try to build it up, Hernando Ritchie said, trying to get into the freight broker because retirement is boating. I'm assuming you're saying boring, but here's my recommendation for anybody. Boring. Okay. Anybody who's thinking about becoming a broker that has very little or no transportation experience at all, just go somewhere else. And I'm not trying to say it to be mean. Yes, could you learn it? Yes, could you make money? Yes, all that stuff. But the thing about it is you don't necessarily with the industry how it is right now, it may not be the best time for new brokers to get in my opinion. As most people disagree with me, I'm a firm believer that if you file for an MC number as a broker, you should have to prove that you have experience. If you file for your own carrier authority, you should have to prove you have experience in the industry. It would eliminate a lot of the startup problems and all the failures and all that stuff. I think that's very important. Yeah, Kevin, I'll be up there. We'll grab lunch someday. Aaron said, what differences, legal, insurance, etc., are big trucks over hot shots? All my trucks are hot shots, wanting to expand into bigger trucks. I mean, I don't. Legal, nothing. You still have the same IFTA. You still have the same insurance requirements. You're paying the same. Maybe the insurance cost goes up or down. Actually, I think our insurance, well, it was a driver. The driver was older too. But the driver insurance was cheaper because he was older and he had a good record. But for his 2000, whatever it was, 14 Freightliner was cheaper than a 2017 Dodge Ram 2500 or 3500, in the trailer. The reason he said yes, because the friend that has 11 trucks said he can help me to succeed. I'm thinking that's a plus in a way. Yeah, maybe if it depends. Cause like I said, and I'm more recently agreeing with myself. If if you start as a carrier first, or you work for a carrier, or your friend with 11 trucks says, hey, listen, I got direct freight. I can't run a brokerage and my trucking company. So why don't we set up a brokerage and then we'll feed some of this direct freight once telling the carrier or telling the customer about it. We'll feed some of that direct freight through the brokerage. Yes, then jump in it because you're going to end up getting in it. But the problem is that there's so many big mega brokers out there. There's so many independent brokers out there that are just beating up the phones, and these shippers are getting called and called and called. And it's becoming very, if you're not tech savvy and you don't have like some sort of thing to make you appealing instead of just being like any other broker who calls, it's not necessarily the best time. And that's my opinion. Other people have different opinions. Some people say it's great to get, yes, you can make money. If you get a customer, you're going to make money. I have agents that, get customers and they make money starting from, with very, very little experience in the industry. And then I have other ones that struggle to do cold calls and try to get through the gatekeepers and all that stuff. It all depends on luck, really, if you're able to get through to someone. Aaron said tags, etc. I mean, a breakdown beyond all that stuff. Just attend the free seminar on Saturday because I'm not going to go into all that stuff now. But you still have to. You don't do a 2290 with hot shot because you're under 55,000 pounds. Typically, some of them are over, so you save a little bit there. Your insurance costs are roughly the same. Your maintenance costs may be a little bit higher, but your actual out the pocket costs, if you're buying a used truck versus a decent dually with trailer, your out of pocket costs are going to be about the same. So, but the difference is you're going to make more money. You're going to make more money pulling a semi than you are with a hot shot. And I know some hot shotters are going to say, no, that's not true. I make plenty. Okay. But I can guarantee I can book more. That's it. Arnando said that's what he was saying, but knowledge is power. And that's why I've been asking the questions because it seems difficult to me, to be honest. Brokering. I mean, the transition from carrier to broker is way easier than it is from nothing to broker. Aaron, I don't know off the top of my head. The cost of the 2290. I have no idea. I think that it has to do with the tax of the vehicle. Again, anyone that has the carrier specific questions, join that training on Saturday and it's free. It doesn't cost you a single thing except time because you're gonna have to watch the videos, or you're gonna have to be there. Topefling so no, that's not true. Yes, it is. I watch your videos quite a bit too, but that's the truth. Hot shots, you don't make as much money. Can you make a lot of money with a hot shot? Yeah, but I guarantee I could go against any hot shotter. If I had a semi and they had a hot shot, I could make more money with that semi truck in a week. Guaranteed. It's just it's the truth. And that's coming from someone that's been doing it for 15 years as a broker, as a carrier, as a shipper, as a fleet owner. There's more options. Can you get lucky and get a hot shot load that is a true hot shot load that needs to be picked up and delivered fast or a tight delivery or tight location? That's why they're asking for a specific hot shot. It's you can get lucky, but I could do the same thing with a step deck. That's the thing. A hot shot's not pulling 30,000 pounds. Right Lane said, Steve, there's a state law in Tennessee that all residents have to register as Democrats. Well, I guess I'm not registering it there because that's not happening ever. My wife will fit right in, though. Arnando said, I really appreciate your information on videos on YouTube. Thank you, bud. There's going to be a bunch more because after I do this seminar, I'm going to separate the videos, keyword them really strong, and then hopefully they'll go out there and people will be... we'll be watching them for years to come about how to actually open up a trucking company and run the trucking company from point A to point B. Now I know there's a lot of videos. There was a video the other day of some guys like, look how I can make $3,000 a day. Okay, so can everybody. It's just if you get lucky doing it, that's it. And you know what you're doing, you can do it. Aaron said, what's your average weight running on a step? It depends. It's anything under 45,000. The steps I ran were under 45,000 with all the ramps, and they had mega ramps and all that stuff. Right Lane said, Toe Figlet, dude checks how much as they weigh. How much do I make as a broker? More than you as a carrier, or more than you as a driver. Most likely, I have no overhead. That's an honest statement. I have no overhead. Plus, I'm more unique because I make a lot of money. But I can almost guarantee that you have weeks as as a carrier, you have weeks where you make a lot of money. You know what I mean? You can have a week where you do really well and you're making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 after all expenses. But guess what? So do I. And I have no expenses whatsoever. I have no overhead whatsoever. I pay a couple of load boards. I pay well, actually, no, as an agent, I don't, you know. But when I had my own brokerage, I would have weeks where I had one, you know, I've had weeks where I didn't do shit. When I was a global trans agent, I had a customer that went in and logged over 1,000 loads in a week. I made a bunch of money. The system was fully automated. I didn't do a single thing. So I guarantee there's probably not a carrier out there that watches these videos that could say they made more than I did that week, because you had overhead and all that. If a carrier makes $10,000 a week before expenses, that's pretty good. If a broker makes $10,000 a week before expenses, that's never going to happen again. But it does happen. You can scale to 1 million, but I cannot. Well, that's the difference. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Truckers. You see, maybe I don't know what your argument is. Brokers can make a lot. You know, and especially the greedy ones. Greedier ones can make even more money. The ones that are out there when you call and you say you need 225 a month, he's like, I only got 2 in it. But really, he's got 450 in it. And he's trying to be greedy and make it. You know, people can do that. Brokers do it all the time. Carriers complain about it all the time. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right, but people do it all the time. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from that. Like, you make it work with your hotshot. I know, because I'm confused if you or you're the other guy that I watch a lot. There's 2 people that I watch on YouTube, but so I'm not sure which one is which. But you know, a broker makes more than a carrier. It depends, man. It depends. On a per load basis, again, it depends on the load. It depends on where it's going, you know, and what your overhead is. Here's the difference too, because a carrier that goes out and says, oh, you know, I'm getting paid $3,000 for $1,000 load. Your expenses on that load, including driver pay, are roughly probably, including fuel on a 1,000-mile run, your expenses are probably $1,500 max. You're making $1,500 profit. But then when you break down all the other expenses that you have to take out an accountant of it, you're probably netting $800 for 2 days worth of work and profit. I didn't, starting from the beginning, but once you get going as a broker and you start realizing what you're doing and moving a lot of freight, you know, before I started these videos, I was making well over that, you know, and then I started making the videos and spending more time doing it, so I make less. But my argument is not with carriers. You know, there's probably more carriers sit and have more money than I do. But the issue is, you know, the reason why I was talking about that is between a hotshot guy like you and a step deck. A step deck's always going to win out. They're always going to make more money. You know, it's my opinion. And anyone that says, oh, I can run faster, I can run longer, I can run further. No, you can't. You're still under the same hours of service. You still have to follow the same exact guidelines. You have to go on the same roads. You have to follow the same ELDs. You got to follow the same principles as a big truck. So why not just be a big truck? I don't understand it, especially the guys that are, I mean, it was worse back then in late 2018 where all these guys are going out and buying $90,000 hotshot rigs when you had a wait of 2 months just to get a truck. You know what I mean? I think if you're the guy that does the enterprise trucks, you're actually probably doing doing decent because you're just renting the truck and you don't have the oversight if the thing breaks down, or the overhead. If it breaks down, it's not on you, I don't think. I don't know how the enterprise deal works. But that's what it is. T. Holland said, from what you just said, that's why I don't know why carriers are out here running for $1 a mile. Here's the truth. There's some carriers that are out here running for $1 a mile. Well, there's not. You have carriers that are running backhauls for $1 a mile, which is what it is. And then you have carriers that are running, you have the uneducated carriers who are only going to stay open till they realize they can't anymore, that are just booking anything they could take. I had a client when I dispatched, I had a carrier that did the same thing. He didn't care. He would take anything. He didn't care. Because it wasn't a job for him. It was just a way to make extra money. He wasn't trying to make a living off of it. You know, he didn't care about his finances. He was retired. He was just trying to make money. You know, there's other people that, you know, are able to say, okay, I have an all-in rate of my goal, my target rate that I want to make every time I start my truck. Every mile that my truck drives, whether empty or loaded, is $2.25 a mile. So they know that if they're getting $3.75 a mile going in, they're able to take a load that's cheaper coming out of $1.50 a mile coming out, because it's still going to equal that $2.25 a mile for all miles. You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's how you're able to maximize the profitability of your truck. Not everybody can do that. A lot of people say, you know, and not a lot of lanes are out there where you can do that. I do offer consultations. You can just call me, or send me a PM, and then, or you can send an email to live@freightbrokerlive.com. But I only do the consultations until December 1st, because I don't know what the deal is. I'll have to talk about that with my new employer. But yeah, send me an email to live@freightbrokerlive.com, and I can go over some stuff. But let me see. Oh, Right Lane. Yeah, you got to call that broker. I'd be curious to know if it's one of the big brokers out there, because that's a typical thing they do. I also waited, you know, and the same thing happens to brokers, because remember back I don't know, what was it, 2 months ago, or no, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I was trying to get that load covered, and I sent the Raycon over to the carrier, and he wouldn't sign it and send it back. And I went hours and hours and hours, and he wouldn't sign it and send it back. And it turns out he didn't even have a truck for it. He was trying to shop the load. Remember, carriers do it too. Not all of them. I mean, that guy was trying to be shady. But I have also, when I had my trucks, I have not signed a load back in hopes that I could find something else. You know, back when I didn't know any better and didn't realize that, hey, breaking that carrier or that broker relationship is just like screwing over a customer, because ultimately you make money off of the broker. It is your customer, whether you like it or not. Sometimes the brokers don't think of carriers as customers. I do. The only way I make money as a broker is by having a carrier haul my freight. If there's not a carrier to haul my freight because I pissed them all off and I haven't been honest with them, then, you know, I'm not going to be able to move any money. Or move any loads. I'm not going to make any money. The only way I make money is by carriers hauling my freight. So I treat every carrier as a customer. Now, but I'm unique in the way I do stuff. I have a no BS approach. So if a carrier or a customer talks down to me or swears at me on the phone, like I'll swear during the course of these videos, someone drops an F-bomb on me on the phone, I'll hang up on them, never talk to them again. There's just a decorum, you know, or a way of speaking. You know, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. I've had carriers yell at me and curse at me and all that stuff. And I've had customers do it too. I had a customer call me an a-hole because I didn't get his load picked up by the time he wanted. And I said, well, you let me know 2 hours ago that you needed a load, you know, that you needed a truck. I'm sorry I couldn't get it picked up in 2 hours. He was like, well, you're such an a-hole. I could have grabbed somebody else. I'm like, okay, see you later. Nice, you know, everybody deals with that kind of stuff. Fran said he will focus on volume. Volume is the way to make money as a broker. I'm a firm believer of that. I could go out and book loads and make $1,000 profit on every single load. I wouldn't be, you know, I could book one load a week, make $1,000 profit and be, woo, I made $1,000. I'm going to spend more time searching for that one load. Whereas now I can go to a customer and say, hey, send me your list, and book 5 or 6 of those loads at a smaller margin, make the $1,000 and still be able to have the rest of the week to cover more freight. That's why it took me a long time to figure it out, but that's why I was able, and that's why I almost want to say I coined the term volume broker. I don't base my loads on a per load basis. I base them on a per load block. You give me 20 loads, I'm going to make a profit off of those 20 loads. You give me 10, I may not make as much of a profit because I'm able to say, oh, on this load, I made $200. Let me make $100 on this, pay the carrier a little bit more. If I'm not moving that kind of volume, I don't have that kind of play and that kind of control over the loads, if that makes sense. Right Lane said, are you referring to your dating life? Blah, blah, blah. Fran said, viewers. Fran said, do you threaten to throw books at your carriers like friendly like me? No, I just mute people. That's all I do. But I just mute people. like, see, you want to see how it works? I just found out I can mute people. I won't do it, Franz. That would be mean. I don't throw books at anyone. There's a spider. I'm a big dude. I'm 290 pounds. I do not like spiders. I'm sorry. You guys can make fun of me all you want. I saw a spider and I threw a book at it. The dog was barking one time, so I threw a book at the wall by the dog to get him to stop barking, because making my video took precedence over the dog barking at some random person that was walking up to my house, which is fine. I have cameras all over my house, plus guns, so whatever. Toe Piglet said, I heard somewhere brokers are required to disclose how much they make. Any truth to that? Yes and no. The actual, it's not brokers. There's supposed to be transparency in the lane, or in the rates. So like if you're an owner op, you're supposed to have access, and you could sue for access to what the carrier's paying. But there's and I've read the law that everyone references. Yeah, if you read that, it's a regulation. It's not a law. Actually, if you read that, then yeah, you could see that you know, it does give the appearance that a broker is supposed to be transparent in the rate. But if I had a carrier, I mean, for me, I'm different, because the carrier asks me how much I make. I'm going to tell them, because half the time they're not going to believe me. If I say I make $50 on a $2,000 load, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, sure you did. And then they get to the customer, and the customer tells them, my customers also know how much I make. I'm different than other brokers. And I found that level of transparency helps me to keep my customers. You know what I mean? But for example, that load from Massachusetts to Michigan, we finally got that load covered. It took me 2 weeks to cover that load. I covered it for the same rate that I originally quoted. Customer calls me today. I've got my voice like this. Granted, he thought I was super sick. I'm not sick. I just don't have a voice. And he's like, man, I really appreciate how hard you work. You know, I know, you know, and I was like, oh, by the way, we covered it for the same price, because he said cover it for whatever you want. So on that load, we're paying the carrier $1,550, and we're billing $1,600 to the customer. I could have said to the customer, oh, it cost $2,400 and made, you know, $950. I'm just not going to do it. I'm an honest guy, and I think that kind of separates it a little bit. Right Lane said, there sure needs to be regulatory agency to make sure no one else uses the term volume broker. Yeah, I agree. I like that term, but I'm going to write a book. One day I'm going to call it What is a Volume Broker? And I'm just going to write a book about why I think the volumes industry works, or why I think it works. I don't know. I mean, the industry is funky. Hopefully it picks up, you know. Hopefully I don't need to see the freight industry from a broker's perspective for too much longer, to be honest. Because as I said, for anyone who's just watching, the Freight Broker Live brand that I put on now with the poor whatever you would call it, the videos and all that stuff, we were picked up. And so we're going mainstream now. We're joining FreightWaves. I'm actually moving this weekend. I'm moving up to Chattanooga, and I'll host a new show. Probably it's going to be the same type of show, because that's what I told them I wanted to do. But it's going to it's going to be the same thing, just with a lot more resources, and I'll be able to create a lot more a lot more of the content that I want, and not have to worry about making sure I'm making money, because I will draw a salary, and I'm super excited about it. So anyway, there's that. And then for anyone who doesn't know, all the other viewers, and if you're watching this later, go ahead and share it out. I am doing a free seminar this Saturday. It's online. It's a free trucking seminar. I will help answer the questions like Toe Piglet is asking: how to set up a trucking company, what kind of truck you should buy, how to file for your authority. I'll actually be filing for an authority, screen sharing it. You'll see me actually do every single step. You can ask questions via chat. We'll talk with factoring. We'll talk with insurance professionals. They'll talk to you. Factoring company that sponsored the event is payforfreight.com. I'll interview Robert, the owner of that company. He'll talk about some of the issues and concerns that we have in the freight industry right now. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited that I was able to offer it for free. I'm trying to put together, I had this really cool like freight broker manual and all this stuff that I was going to put together. And I can't find it on my damn computer. I spent like an hour and a half this morning trying to find it, and I couldn't find it. But I'll have something put together. Plus all the videos will be made available. So hopefully people will be able to actually learn something. And it's an all-day seminar, and it's free. So there's a link somewhere up in this chat. Otherwise, you can go to the Facebook group, which is the Freight Broker Live Facebook group or Facebook page rather, and you'll see a link for the training. You can go ahead and sign up. I think I've got 70 plus people signed up now, and the more the merrier. The only thing that will ever charge you is you filing for your authority. We don't charge anything. It's a free seminar. It's free to everybody to watch and all that good stuff and learn. Fran said, can an agent partner with supply chain companies? It depends what you mean. If you mean, it depends what you mean. There's all sorts of different answers to that question. Toe Piglet said, what freight do I broker? So I broker mostly dry van freight. So that's Arnando. That course is Monday. Or it's Saturday. Saturday. It's online. So, and it'll be recorded as well. William said, I told you, Steve, you're going up. Yeah. I kind of figured it with the CWRV article when that got picked up, and then the Omnitrax when I broke the Omnitrax story. I knew that was good. And to be honest, I have more fun. Like the best part of my day is making these videos. Even when I don't really have anything to talk about. Look, I've talked for an hour and 15 minutes, and we talked about Amazon for the first 5, and then I've just been shooting the shit with everyone out there. So I really enjoy making the videos. It's one of the best parts of my day, and because I feel like people actually watch them and people they learn. You know what I mean? And people get it. And I really like writing and doing the research on the articles that I write. And I couldn't do that as much because I had to focus on paying bills and making rent and doing all that. I couldn't treat it as a job because making these videos, I'm not like a big YouTube guy like Toe Piglet where I get sponsored or, can monetize the YouTube platform. I'm too small for that. So I don't make money doing that kind of stuff. I used to make the money off of being a broker, and I still make money off being a broker. So it'll be interesting to allow myself the flexibility to just work on creating content and videos and participating with such a company that's essentially groundbreaking, and finding more about the Sonar platform, because I think that's going to be awesome too. Toe Piglet asks what my opinion on Uber Freight is. Do I want to tackle that one, boys? I don't know. I like Uber Freight. I'm a proponent of the freight marketplace. I think that's the way the industry has to go, and it's needed. I don't know if it's going to work and who's going to finally figure it out the right way. I don't think we have yet. I think there's a lot of steps and components that are missing in any freight marketplace currently. I think Uber Freight is trying. They're investing money, a lot of money, and hopefully they're able to figure it out. But when I was at FreightWaves Live in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, I saw some of their tech and their presentation. Some of their stuff is just simply amazing. It's just awesome when you look at it. But Fran said, am I doing a session tomorrow morning? I will be doing something tomorrow morning for the current agents. Possibly. Today was dead, though. Tomorrow's probably going to be dead, but I'll do something. Arnando said, is it for Saturday or Monday? It's Saturday only. So it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. It goes till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't need to watch the whole thing. Everything will be recorded and be made public on YouTube. But I do want everyone to try to sign up because, one, we have sponsors, so they'll get your contact information and tell you about factoring and insurance and that kind of stuff. And then secondly, you'll also get all the resource material that I'm putting together. You'll also get that as well. And that'll only be sent to the people that have signed up on that link to get it. So, but yeah, I'm going to cover, exactly how I think you should set up companies and what do I know about setting up trucking companies. I mean, I've only set up, if I wish I had an accurate number, but I would say roughly, I don't know, 200 trucking companies in the past 5 years, maybe. So from doing the filings and maybe another 50 brokers and, doing the filings and getting their companies fully set up. That used to be what I wanted to do, is just be a consultant, just fly around and be like, oh, you want to start a trucking company? Pay me a grip of money and I'll do it for you. That kind of stuff. But not a lot of people have a lot of money. So Uber Freight is like the government operating at a loss. Stupid investors are losing money. Uber, yeah, I mean, they are, but they're not. Uber Freight, if I tell you what, whoever does it and whoever figures it out is they're going to be set forever. You know what I mean? I think the reason why Uber Freight isn't able to do, it hasn't been able to succeed just yet is because of capacity issues. They try to build capacity and then they try to get more shippers from that basis. And it's all about data. The more data they get, the more I wrote the article that they're giving away the Geotab ELDs because they need that data so they can go after new business in that area. It takes a long time to process. I said load boards would do it. I tried to use the truck stop integration, couldn't figure it out. It's not my thing, because I said load boards should integrate a freight marketplace right onto the load boards. They already have all the shippers because they have every broker that has to use a load board to post out a load. They already have all the carriers because every carrier is looking on the load boards to find the loads. So integrate a freight marketplace between those two and boom, you're good. But nobody's found a way to seamlessly do that with very minimal transition and to make it easy for everybody to use, which is, it's kind of mind blowing with all the freight tech and availability. When I first started making these videos, I said Amazon or Uber or Convoy or any of those companies could call me and I'll tell you exactly how to do it, leaving the tech crap out. And they didn't. So now it's too late. Now I'm going to just go become a professional video maker person thing, whatever you call that. I'm just going to make funny videos. I'm going to make these videos. I seriously, I have like a notebook full of ideas. As soon as I realized this was a potential opportunity, I'm very excited about it. But yeah, as I said, so I'll probably make a video tomorrow, which will probably be the last official Freight Broker Live video like I make like this. And then I will move on to whatever new videos I make. I'm gonna start trying the whole TikTok thing because my son. So I know the FreightWaves guys have been talking about it, but my son keeps asking to use FreightWaves, and he's 9. So I figure, or not FreightWaves, yeah, right. He asked to use TikTok, and I was like, that FreightWaves talks about it a lot. I've seen a lot of the videos on Facebook, the funny ones that I watch are TikTok videos. So I'm like, okay, let me check this out, see if it's appropriate for a 9-year-old. After doing my extensive research for the 2.5 hours, I decided, hell no, he's not going to get it. But it gave me some ideas for funny different quirks to get it out there, which to get the brand out there and all that. And the best part about my deal is I get to create my own content. So I'm super excited about that. So everything I create will be from my head. It will be my ideas. So I'm excited. It's a big thing there. But I'll still be brokering freight too. For the time being, I'll still be brokering freight and moving that, and trying to help my agent succeed and all that good stuff. So, all right. So Hernando signed up. That's cool. So yeah, tomorrow I'll make a little video and then I may make other videos, clearly not on Thanksgiving. I'm just going to be drinking and getting ready for my big seminar on Saturday. And then Friday, I'm not going to make any videos because I'll just be prepping for that seminar all day Saturday. And Sunday, I'll be driving to Tennessee. So I won't be making videos while I drive, right? Because you're not supposed to do that. But I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome, to be honest. A lot of good things coming. And it's because of you guys watching my videos all the time. So, and you guys commenting on it and the people that I've been able to help and the people that I've talked to and the friends that I've made and the opportunities that have been extended because of this stuff. I'm very, very thankful to all the people that actually watch these videos. And that was super lame, and I'm not talking about any of that stuff anymore. Last question, Luis Macho Nieves. I don't know how you say your last name. Nieves. It sounds almost like I'm sneezing or something. Yes. He said, what is the best load board out there? I would say the best load board by far, 100%. This is like all the answers you watch on YouTube when they say, how much can a freight broker make? And they say, well, let me tell you how much a freight broker make. The best load board you could possibly make or that you could possibly use ever is whichever one works for you. If you're doing dry van, even box truck stuff like whatever your name is, Dibor asked about, that load board is going to be a better fit for you. If you're doing flatbed, hot shot, step deck, RGN, oversized, truck stop is going to be a better load for you. But if you do want to sign up for Trucker's Edge, which is the DAT load board, and you've never used it before, go ahead and click this link, which is www.truckersedge.com/408339. Once you get your free 30 days from there, it'll convert to an actual membership, but you can test it out for 30 days for free. As always, make sure you stay tuned to freightbrokerlive.com until December 1st, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm doing with the website after that. But check out freightbrokerlive.com for news and stuff. I haven't written anything in a long time, so whatever. It's not really an up-to-date, but I will be hosting the video series on that website. So make sure you guys keep that, not the video series, the seminar. It'll be hosted on that website somewhere on freightbrokerlive.com. So make sure you pay attention to that. And make sure you like this page, facebook.com/freightbrokerlive, because I will always use that page and it's awesome. And we'll go from there. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. See you later. Bye. Oh, link for the load board is, hold on, wait for it, www.truckersedge.com/4083339. Full disclaimer, in about 90 days, they send me a tiny little referral fee if you keep being signed up with them, and all that good stuff. But I'm going to end this video because I am tired of talking, and I'm going to try to go to the gym and sweat whatever this is out. See you later. Bye.